The Queensland cane belt has operated on a relatively stable equipment preference for decades. Case IH's Osthoff chopper harvester line has been the reference point for mechanical cane harvesting in Australia since the Osthoff 7000 series established the standard for whole stalk and chopped cane harvesting, and that position has not been surrendered easily or quickly. Industry reporting from Queensland's cane belt, however, shows Claas making real inroads into a market that was not considered seriously contested 3 harvests ago, though Case IH's Osthoff lineup remains far from irrelevant. 5 reasons explain how Claas has moved from a curiosity to a genuine purchasing consideration among Queensland cane farmers in a short period, and what those reasons mean for anyone reviewing their harvest equipment fleet right now. We start with the reason that appears first in harvest contractor discussions. The first reason Claas is gaining serious attention in the Queensland cane belt is the Jaguar forage harvester's documented performance in high-tonnage operations. The Claas Jaguar, a forage harvester occasionally adapted for sugarcane silage in the Queensland market, brings its high-throughput architecture to a crop that demands sustained high-throughput chopping over extended daily operating hours. In high-yield North Queensland cane, where daily cut volumes can exceed 300 tons per machine in favorable conditions, the Jaguar's throughput capacity under full load has been reported by industry sources covering the Burdekin, Herbert River, and Wet Tropics districts as matching or exceeding the output of the Case IH Osthoff in comparable block conditions. This is not a comparison that dismisses the Osthoff's established position. The Case IH Osthoff 7790 and 8800 series machines carry decades of development specifically for the Australian cane harvesting cycle, with a component supply chain and workshop network calibrated to the Queensland season. What the Claas Jaguar offers is a platform that enters the chopped cane discussion with a different engineering architecture, one that cane farmers evaluating their next major capital purchase are increasingly prepared to consider alongside the established alternative rather than dismissing it as an outsider. Known weak points that industry reporting and harvesting contractor discussions identify for the Claas Jaguar in cane application include the crop lifter geometry, which requires calibration specific to the lodging conditions of North Queensland cane that differ from European forage crop angles. This is a setup cost rather than an ongoing repair cost, but it requires Claas technician time at the start of the season, typically adding 1 to 2 days of setup to initial deployment. The feed roll drive system on the Jaguar also benefits from an inspection at around 500 harvesting hours, which in a high-throughput cane operation can arrive within a single season, with a full inspection and adjustment service costing approximately 800 to 1,000 Australian dollars through a Claas-accredited workshop. The second reason is Claas's part supply response in Queensland. One of the long-standing practical advantages of the Case IH Osthoff in the Queensland cane market has been the CNH industrial parts supply chain, which is organized around the Australian cane harvesting season and maintains warehouse stock in Queensland, specifically for in-season demand. Claas Australia has invested in regional parts stocking for the Queensland market in recent seasons, and industry reporting from cane belt sources indicates that emergency parts response times, a critical metric during harvest when a machine down for a day represents significant revenue loss, have improved to a level that harvest contractors describe as competitive with the CNH network, though not yet equivalent across all components. For a farmer or contractor evaluating fleet risk, the trajectory of Claas's parts response capability in Queensland is a meaningful data point, even if the current position is still developing relative to the established competitor. The third reason is PTO power delivery in high-demand cane conditions. Tractors supplying PTO power to extraction equipment in the cane field, push rakes, elevators, and ancillary equipment benefit from consistent PTO output under variable load, which is a characteristic of the Claas Axion and Axion tractor range that is drawing attention in the Queensland context. Industry reporting from equipment demonstrations in the Herbert River District indicates that Claas tractor PTO performance under high sustained load in cane ancillary applications has generated positive assessments from operators who have used the platform alongside CNH and AGCO alternatives in the same operations. Known weak points in the Claas Axion and Axion tractor range relevant to Queensland conditions include the cab air filtration system, which in the fine ash environment of post-burn harvesting requires filter changes more frequently than the standard service interval, approximately every 150 hours rather than 250 in heavy ash conditions, adding approximately $80 per additional filter change to the seasonal maintenance budget. The front axle suspension system on higher specification Axion models also benefits from an annual seal inspection in the high vibration environment of cane field access tracks, with seal replacement costing approximately $280 to $340 through a Claas accredited workshop. The fourth reason is the financial calculation of running a Claas machine in a market where the brand's residual value is still establishing itself. This is, at present, a two-edged observation. Claas machinery in the Queensland cane market does not yet carry the established resale depth that the Case IH Osthoft commands at rural clearing sales and harvest equipment auctions in the cane districts. An Osthoft machine with a documented service history and known provenance will attract competitive bids from buyers across the cane belt because the market for that machine is wide and confident. A Claas Jaguar of equivalent age and hours sells into a narrower buyer pool in the current Queensland market. For a primary producer who plans to hold a machine for its full working life, this residual value gap is less relevant than for a contractor who turns fleet over on a regular cycle. For the latter, it is a real financial consideration that does not yet resolve in Claas's favor in this market. The fifth reason is the direct market response of Case IH to Claas's increasing presence in the Queensland cane belt, which is itself evidence that the competitive pressure is real. Industry reporting from Queensland agricultural media indicates that CNH, Industrial Australia, has accelerated service and support program investments in the cane districts in recent seasons, a pattern that correlates with increased Claas activity in the same geography. Competitive markets produce better outcomes for operators regardless of which brand they prefer, and the fact that the Osthoft's position is being actively defended through program investment rather than assumed as permanent reflects an accurate reading of the current competitive landscape by CNH Industrial. What the current data does not support is a conclusion that Claas has displaced or is displacing Case IH in the Queensland cane market in any overall sense. The Osthoft line retains dominant market share in mechanical cane harvesting in Australia, and the dealer, workshop, and parts infrastructure built around it represents an incumbent advantage that a new entrant cannot replicate in a few seasons. What the data supports is the more specific conclusion that Claas has created a genuine second option in a market that, for most of its modern history, operated without one, and that Queensland cane farmers with a major capital decision approaching are now making that decision in a competitive context that did not exist 5 years ago. Across all 5 reasons examined here, one truth stands out. Market positions that look permanent rarely are, and the Queensland cane belt is currently watching a competitive dynamic develop that will take several more harvests to resolve into a clear trend. The farmers who benefit most from that dynamic are the ones who evaluate both options on the basis of their own operations' throughput requirements, dealer proximity, and fleet management cycle, rather than on the basis of which badge has been on the shed wall the longest. If this breakdown changed the way you think about the equipment choice in the Queensland cane context, hit subscribe, leave a like, and share it with someone in the cane industry who is reviewing their harvest equipment fleet right now. Tell us in the comments whether you have run Claas equipment in the cane.